Good morning and welcome to Brandenburg News Network. I am Donna Brandenburg, and it's the 12th day of November 2024, and welcome to our show today. First hour, we have John Tater, and second hour at 10 o'clock, we have citizen journalists with Christina Holbrook, Melissa Fryzel, and Christina. So we're going to get right into this, and lots going on here today. What's happening, John?
Good morning, everyone. My t-shirt says it all.
Okay, you got to straighten it out. Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. There you go.
Slash woman.
Well, you know, I'm not that kind of a snowflake. You can use it either. And I understand the meaning, you know, and nobody here is confused.
Oh, good. I didn't think so, but I thought I'd throw it out there.
I had a really interesting afternoon yesterday. I had a couple of guys that showed up at my door, and they were trying to sell something for the smart meters, and restricting power between, or increasing the price for power between 2 and 5 in the afternoon. Boy, did they get an education. I talked to them, and we talked for probably about a half hour, telling them what a bunch of nonsense this whole thing is and what really was happening there. I was just kind of like, I don't know. It was a fun time. We ended up becoming kind of friends, and was an interesting talk. They had no idea. So I just educated them on that. Windmills, power grid, nonsense. I'm like, how do you think you get electricity? Just saying, you know, how do you think you do that? I'm like, well, you either burn coal or you burn petroleum, or you have nuclear. So that's pretty much it. You don't, it just doesn't like fall out of the sky at you. So I said, you either burn something here or you burn it later. So this is all about, collectivism and putting the control on our power grid. But at any rate, they were good sports. What?
They did understand what you were saying? Because
by the time I got done, they understood, because I wasn't going to let it go until they did understand. So it was a fun time, and nice guys. I wish them well. I hope that they're out there watching them. I gave them Brandenburg News Network, so we'll see. You might want to be educated. I said, go to Brandenburg News Network, and you will find out the uncomfortable truths facing us all. So anyhow, I wanted to show you something before we bring up the election. And some of you and I have the same opinion on this, but I don't know if you guys saw the here, let's start back here. If you saw this thing about FEMA camps, and Hal Turner is about 90 some odd % accurate. And it's the word is seeping out from intelligence sources that Biden regime is in the US and the Starmer regime in the UK are preparing to blow up underseas internet cables to cut global communications. It's possible. So just keep your eyes on that. And the other thing is FEMA staging 350 semi-trucks full of unknown equipment in preparation for an emergency situation in these specific areas. So you've got Grand Rapids, you've got Ionia, you've got Berry County here, you've got right outside of Lansing, Livingston, and Macomb. So look at this. It's cutting right straight across the state of Michigan there, which I thought was pretty interesting. But what was more interesting, because I always think that what they're really doing is look here, not over here. Check this out. Why Michigan is pumping $50 million into a private potash operation. And if you go in and read the rest of the article, I knew there was more behind this than what they were saying. Way more. And there's way more behind the I'm investigating the airport that they basically are staging in, and there's way more to this than what they're telling everybody. Way more. And so let me stop this screen a minute. We're going to go look at something else here, because this is where this is going, in my opinion. And the article for this is fairly disturbing, because it goes right back to Gretchen, the thief, the traitor Whitmer, who needs to go to Gitmo and be tried and hung for her crimes in a military tribunal, because the judges are all protecting her. And so is the legislature at this point in time, because none of them have done their jobs. And so let's check this out. $50 million into a private potash operation. Now, why would they be doing this into a private company? Let's ask ourselves that question, boys and girls, to see how ridiculous this is. Oh, it could be that they're going 7,000 feet underground to a massive mineral deposit left behind by ancient evaporated seas, a new billion-dollar industry in Michigan, which the people of Michigan will never see. They're commandeering our resources. That's what's going on here. She signed into law a $5 billion bipartisan spending deal that includes $50 million state subsidy for Michigan potash and salt. Screw those people. This organization is a communist organization. I'll say it right now. If they took that money and are pilfering our resources in conjunction with, Gretchen, the traitor Whitmer, look at this. It's amazing, and it stretches to an estimated underground. They're basically commandeering the mineral rights. 2.9 million acres beneath 8 mid-Michigan counties. And guess what? Where are those counties at? Exactly where they have the FEMA trailers going. Should we be concerned? Hell yes, we should. They're taking money from the taxpayers to fund this stuff. And this company is taking the subsidy, which makes them part of the theft. And I want to know what the actual benefit to the taxpayers are. I'm not seeing it. So there you go.
I thought Michigan was broke.
Yeah. Well, they aren't, because they aren't broke because they keep giving money to the corporate welfare. It's the corporatocracy that's winning. So anyhow, I thought everybody would like to see that. This is what this is all about. They're guaranteed this is what it's all about, because FEMA down in South Carolina has gone ahead and claimed through eminent domain tons of property down there. They just condemned the whole area. And I don't know how they can do that down there. I mean, they have no authority to do that. Not only do they not have the ability to grab why would they be grabbing the land? What is the point there? Are they protecting their citizens? No, they're stealing the land from them. That's what this is all about.
That's right. But we elected the criminals. Now we got to get them out of office.
And look at these people. These people approved this. They approved this. That means it's the entire legislature that did this.
That's right. They're the ones that need to be in jail too.
They should all be in jail. They should all be tried for treason.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. There's talk or rumble about Biden stepping down and Kamala taking over office. And that in itself is corruption, because we know that Kamala is not a natural born citizen, and therefore she has no authority to operate the presidency, and she has no authority to even be a vice president. And yet the Democrats, or I don't know what you want to call them, because they're not really criminals. I guess Democrats with a C for criminals. They're criminals trying to take over the landmass of the United States in any way they possibly can,
and kick us off.
And they're keeping the American people. They're not being transparent. Of course, we know that Michigan is the least transparent state of all of the 50 states of the union, and the most corrupt of all of the 50 states of the union. And it's because we have the three whores in Lansing playing the same game and trying to pad their pockets or whatever in the process. But we need to stop this. And the only way, Trump is in office and Trump is going to take power, but we the people need to understand what's going on. Now, we know that last rumor I've heard is Kamala's trying to raise money. Evidently, they're broke. And so they're trying to raise money to have a recount, which makes absolutely no sense to me, how they could even possibly overcome the election unless they are trying to just grab money for the purpose of doing whatever they're doing. It's not really for a recount. It's just to steal more money so they can run their programs. And they're asking, Kamala's asking her base, which is the Democratic Party, if you're stupid enough to put more money into that system, then you deserve to be broke. I don't get it. I don't understand.
It doesn't work. You can't do a recount because that's not where they're cheating. They're cheating in the programming. They're cheating in what's happening behind the scenes. And if we could get somebody honest that would cough up some of the files I've got a friend out in Florida who did an amazing job getting a hold of the files on the election files and could show everybody exactly where they cheated, but it's all behind the scenes. Doing the recount is absolutely absurd. You're not going to find it there. That's not where it happens.
Before we go off on Kamala, which is what I really want to do, and explain why she cannot ever become president and why she should not be even allowed to be vice president. But before we do that, let's go back to the FEMA thing. You said that one of the counties that they're talking about is Berry County. Is Leaf still in charge, Sheriff?
Yeah.
He has the authority to say, if you come through my county, guys, you're going to all be under arrest.
Yeah, I think it's Berry. It looked like it was Berry there, but they had a list of them, so I should go back and clarify that. But I love Dar. Dar's a good guy.
Well, he should. He's got the power. He's got the power to shut them down right there. FEMA can make a U-turn or go around them some other way, but they can't come through Berry County, because if they do, he'll have the sheriffs out arresting them one at a time, two at a time.
Too bad we didn't have Tater or Brandenburg as governor. This nonsense would have ended a long time ago. But no, we got to play the popularity contest and rah, rah, go team go, instead of getting somebody that can do the job,
It's not popularity, it's cheating. They didn't want you in office. That's why they stacked the deck against you. They didn't want me in office. That's why they lied in any possible way. And the problem is that the public was watching the media because they had no other options at that time. And they believed what the lying media, the fake news was telling them. And therefore, that's where we're at.
You want to know something else that I found this week? Bob Cushman brought this forward, that DTE was paying First Choice, which was the signature verifiers that I hired, and that were involved in the signature scam. DTE was literally paying them the signature gatherers. Why in the hell was DTE paying the signature gatherers? Wouldn't that be like the first question people should ask? Yeah. What are they getting out of it? And why are we allowing these corporations to fund that part, to tank it, that part of our elections? It is so corrupt. And you know what, John, honestly, I would do the same thing again. I really would. I'd go through this kind of, coming into it as a true outsider, no idea exactly how politics works, and figuring it out from the outside. Because the average person would not even believe what lengths these people will go to stay in power. They will kill, they will steal, they will lie, they will cheat, they will do they will threaten, they will coerce, they will bribe. They will do anything that they think they can get away with, and then they cover up for each other after they do it.
Do you know that and I'm sure you do, that the public-private partnership is really National Socialism?
Of course.
Why do people not get that, understand that when the public and the private get into bed together, that it is no good for the public, no good for us, the people?
That's what happened in China. That's why China owns all of the businesses there. And that's exactly how they're doing it here. It's the same system.
But it goes all the way, it even goes back to Schneider, who was supposedly a Republican, who was supposedly a conservative, and he was the one that talked about public-private partnership and building the bridge to Canada. Remember? Back when? He was all in favor of the public-private partnership back then. And God knows how far, and I didn't pay any attention to some of the other governors before him as closely as I had years later in my life. As we listen to these people speak, they're telling us what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's not calling it Nazism or National Socialism, but it's the same thing. That's what it is.
They're Marxists. That's what Marxists have always done, is they've gone after the economic branch to fund themselves, because it's all about the money. And they commandeer the supply line so they can choke you out at will through the energy sector, through the food, through farm, alleged health care. And that's, they are actually using those. They're weaponized against all of us.
Okay, so we'll go back at this point in time. We understand that the governor in Michigan is a criminal.
She's a criminal, a traitor.
And same with the Secretary of State, and same with the Attorney General. And
criminals and traitors.
People need to know that what these people are doing that are sitting in office. They're not using their office as it should be used to run the government. They're using their office to extract money and or power from the people and take control of the government, take control of the public, so they can do what they want to do. This FEMA operation that's going from across the state of Michigan that you just showed me on the map a little bit ago, that FEMA operation, what's the function of that? And why just before the election, why just before the inauguration that this is going to take place? What are they planning?
Land grab.
Is it a land grab? Yes, because it's, as you say, look over here while I'm doing something over there. That's what they're doing.
They want that potash thing to go for millions of acres underground of that deposit so they can steal it. And just like they did the mineral rights up north, they're clear cutting and taking all the mineral rights.
Well, they did that with the water.
Yes, they did. Nestle.
China, Nestle did it. Nestle's still in operation as far as I know.
Yeah, and they basically walked out of the state with millions and millions of gallons of water. No benefit to the citizens at all. It was for a $250 permit. Their sorry butts should be kicked out of this state quickly. They have no rights.
Actually, they need to be paying for that. Now, how you would pay for that? You either, once you go through trial and be found guilty, then you either pay for it with all of your fortune that you accumulated, and or you do involuntary servitude for being a criminal. One or the other.
One or the other. I think the point being is that people have to be sued individually because that are in government. And you really had it. And I've been talking to some more people about that. And honestly, we're going to have to go after these people legally and make sure that they are never able to allegedly serve or pilfer this state again.
Well, once you go after them and create enough hassle for them and create enough financial problems for them because you're suing them for millions, then they will be looking for a place to hide, a hole to crawl into where they came out of. So the point of the matter is when you go after them individually, eventually they have no place to hide. Right now, if you go after the governor, she's got a lot of different places to go and different things to do and different ways of getting over it. And she'll get the AG to help her out. But if 14 or 15 or 20 people, and we got a lot of people in Michigan, go after her individually for various reasons, it becomes overwhelming. And even the Attorney General won't be able to handle it. So it takes the American people or the Michigan people to say, let's get her. Let's go after her. Let's sue her properly. I'm going after judges because that's where I think the problem, at least with me, lies. And I have them liable for their lying on record. And that's where I'm headed.
Let's talk about the election and what we were talking about what's going on with President Trump. You and I have a similar mindset on this, that the election was there was absolutely some cheating going on in that election, quite a bit of it actually.
Oh,
and
yeah. Look at Arizona.
Right.
Perry Lake situation. And look at Michigan. How in the world would a group of Michigan people vote for Trump as president and then turn around and vote for Slotkin, which is
it's not possible,
opposite for Senate? How does that mentally adapt to anybody's human understanding? Why would people do that? You're either for Trump and his process and his philosophy and what he believes in and make America great, or you're for the Democrat socialist program. Can't be for both, can you? That doesn't make sense. Or are you a flip-flop artist like Kamala? One day you're Democrat, one day you're a Republican. I don't know. I don't get it. But how do you do that? How do you reconcile that in an election process where at the same time you're going to pick a socialist for one party or for one position, and you're going to pick a Republic person for the second position? I don't get it. Something's in right brain, left brain. I don't know. It's goofy. But anyway, yeah, let's go. The rumor has it that they're going to try to slide Kamala in as president within a month or two, or within a week or two. They're going to have Biden step down for one reason or another, and they're going to put Kamala in charge. Why? And then the next question is, how can they do that? Because they're supposed to be all about the law, and we are a country, a nation of law. We're not a nation of public functionaries who make up their decisions as they go along. We are a nation of laws. Everything happens by law, and if it doesn't fit in with the law, and then it can't work in this country. And we have people like Jamie Raskin who says, "Oh, we're going to use the 14th Amendment on him." I don't know if he's read the 14th Amendment. Because can you pull that up? Do you have it handy?
I can pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up. Because we got to start there, I think. Because they're thinking they're going to pull the 14th Amendment on Trump because of Trump being involved in the J6 collusion that was brought on by the Democrats. But they're going to say that, well, he was involved in the big protest, the big riot to overthrow the government, and yet he was the government. So how did that work out? I don't know. People need to understand that you can't overthrow yourself as president if you're not the president. That doesn't make any sense.
Crazier things have happened, all I can say. Look at the world.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the Article 1 or Section 1 of the 14th Amendment. It says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. We got to stop right there, because we have people out there in the world that think that you don't want to be a citizen of the United States. You want to be a citizen of the state that you were born in. So you want to give up your citizenship of the United States. Well, if you do that, there's a good chance that you could be deported because you're not a citizen of the United States. Where are you a citizen of? So that first argument is a fallacy that was brought on by those people, those so-called, as my friend calls them, lower P patriots, not capital patriots. They're patriots that don't really understand what's going on. But okay, let's start there. So if you're born in the United States or naturalized in the United States, you are a citizen of the United States, and you really want to be, and a citizen of the state wherein they reside. Well, that's what you want to be. Exactly. You want to have the power and the protection of the United States Constitution, and you can't if you're not a citizen. then you are a immigrant or an illegal, and you should probably be exported out of the U.S. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States. Has that been destroyed by the Democratic Party?
Yeah.
With President Trump? Yes, it has.
Yes, it has.
Yes, it has. Abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. And we're not talking about form here. We're talking about substance. Due process of law can take on the form of a due process, but it isn't due process. And this is the game that the judicial system plays with the people. They let you go into court, they let you have your say, but they don't follow the law, and therefore you lose anyway. So that's form, because they give you the illusion of due process, but not actually due process. You don't have the right to go through your allegations, prove your allegations. They summary judge you. They get rid of you in any possible way that they can out of the courtroom. So you have no true due process of law. You have the form of due process of law. And substance always rules over form. But the judges always want to give you the appearance that, oh, yeah, we gave you due process. We let you put your paperwork in. We ruled against you because we're not reading it anyway, or because we're not paying attention to it. That's form. So did Trump get form in his New York process of when they tried him? Was that form or was that substance? How would you know the difference? Well, first of all, you have a jury stacked against you. Then you have a judge stacked against you. Then you have the prosecutor stacked against you, and you expect justice. It doesn't happen that way. The system is corrupt and not in favor, or not to help the public, and not to seek justice. Though the heavens may fall, the whole process is to control the system, the situation. And that's what they did. They controlled the situation in his cases. And so here again, the Democrats who are preaching that they're going to use the 14th Amendment against Trump have violated his rights to due process of law. And it's up to the public to see that, to understand what's going on. Nor to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. And it's been stated many times that the president, or that there were many other people that were in similar positions as Trump doing the same kind of thing. So did they give him equal protection? If it's good for one person, it's good for another. If it's good in one state, it's good for another. Equal protection of the law. Did he get equal protection of the law? No, he did not. So the Democrats, lefties, commies, socialists, whatever you want to call them, the enemy, did everything they could to violate the Section 1 of the 14th Amendment. And now they want to say we're going to use the 14th Amendment to keep them out of office. Representatives shall, Section 2, representatives shall be appointed among the several states according to their representative numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed. But when the rights to vote at any election for the choice of electors for president or vice president of the United States, representatives in Congress, and executive and judicial officers of the state, or the members of the legislature thereof, is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such states, being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged, except for participation in rebellion. And there's the big word that they're going to try to use, or other crimes, the base The basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the proportion which the number of such male citizens shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in such state. So they're going to try to use the rebellion, but it's section 3 that's more important that they're going to use. It says no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of the president or the vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who have previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of the state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection and rebellion. What about AOC? What about Kamala Harris? What about Joe Biden? What about Schumer? What about Jamie Raskin? What about, there's a whole pile of them that fit this part. Engaged in an insurrection. First of all, Trump could not be engaged in an insurrection if he is the official president of the United States. How could you be in an insurrection against yourself? That is illogical and stupid. And anybody that thinks that is really an idiot, because you can only be in an insurrection against the government if you're not in the government and you're trying to have an insurrection against the standing government. But Trump was the standing government in J6 time.
Yes.
Well, how could that fit? That doesn't.
That's the, and the crazy thing is that gets missed so often.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Because people are listening to the fake news as usual.
Right.
And that's what we have. We have to read the Constitution and understand what the heck it's saying. Or rebellion, reading on again, against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemy thereof. Oh, Joe Biden doesn't give comfort and enemy to the Chinese. And how about Teflon? How about Tampon Tim? Has he been giving the Chinese comfort, aid and comfort by going and visiting? What, I think 14 times he went out there to China. Does he have a second home out there, or what? What's the deal? That's his summer home. Or give aid and comfort to the enemy thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. Well, what about removing these people? What about Schumer? Well, you can't remove Schumer. He's part of Congress, and he's not going to give the 2/3 vote against himself, even though he is one of the criminals, and he is one of those that are. And how about Jamie Raskin? And how about what did we used to call them? The squad of four or whatever. What about those people? Do they have any authority or ability to stay in to office? Because they have all been insurrectionists against Trump, and they have created the problems that we are facing today. So, coming back to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, first of all, can't take an oath of office because she can't be president, because she's not a natural-born citizen. And how many people in this country do not understand what a natural-born citizen is?
Clearly, a lot of them.
Many people do not understand it. To be a president of the United States, you have to be not naturalized, but natural-born. And what does it mean to be natural-born? Let's take a look at Minor versus Happersett. And let's go to the 5th page, so we don't spend a whole lot of time reading the whole. We've already gone through this, but so let's go to the top of the 5th page, because that's where it comes out. And there are many other court cases that cite natural-born citizen. This isn't the only one, but this is a pretty powerful one. And right at the top of the page, it says that children of such persons naturalized dwelling within the United States, being under 21 years of age at the time of such naturalization, shall also be considered citizens of the United States. This is naturalized. And that the children of citizens of the United States that might be born beyond the sea or out of the limits of the United States shall be considered as natural born citizens. The provision thus enacted have in substance been retained in all the naturalization laws adopted by 1855. However, the last provision was somewhat extended, and all persons therefore born or thereafter to be born out of the limits of the jurisdiction of the United States, whose father, that's the key word, were or should be at the time of their birth citizens of the United States, were declared to be citizens also, but not naturalized, but natural born if the father himself was a citizen of the United States before the birth of the child. There was another part in here I wanted to see if I can put my finger on it. And I should have looked at this sooner, but I didn't. But anyway, as we note, we can go on. You can become a senator or a congressman by being a naturalized citizen, but you cannot be a president unless you are natural born. And natural born means that your parents are both citizens of the United States upon your birth. And Kamala's parents were not citizens, naturalized citizens of the United States before she was born or when she was born.
So how did everybody miss this? And I'm going to not just say just the Democrats. Why is it that the Republicans didn't call this out and scream this from the rooftops?
I can't figure that one out either.
Well, I can, because it's a uniparty, and they're not playing ball for the United States.
Nope.
At all. They're playing ball for the power structure and the powers that be, because if they were, they would be calling this out, and they didn't do it.
That's right. The Democrats should have started by saying, wait a minute, you're not natural born. You can't run for office.
And the Republicans should have been screaming about this.
Should have been screaming about it also.
Nothing.
What about the libertarians? They didn't say a boo about it either.
None of them said anything.
Nobody. And I have to pick on the U.S. taxpayers. They didn't say anything about it either. And this is a problem.
Which we're both members of. So
that's right. Well, I'm not picking necessarily on the U.S. taxpayers because they're a third party and they don't have the power and the strength, but they should have said something.
But we do say things. We do. It's just that we're so censored. It's like everything else. We're so censored that it's hard to get the message through of what's really going on. I mean, we put out resolutions. I wonder if anybody's really seen those resolutions other than what I've posted and such. And it went out to the media, and the media has been silent as the grave.
That's right. Well, I'm not necessarily picking on the libertarians and the U.S. taxpayers because they do not have the power of the Republicans. But the Republicans should have been screaming. So should have Trump. Trump and the MAGA people should have been screaming. You can't become a president. You can't become a vice president. You're not a natural born citizen. Period. You're done.
Well, and I'm going to say this again, that we're going to have to investigate the 2024 election. This whole thing is got to be investigated. And I believe that President Trump won by a much, much wider margin. I think he got a lot more votes than what they're reporting. And I mean, but we need to prove it. And not only that, Once we do that, we're going to catch all the outliers that were cheating on the down ballot races. And so it's like the amazing thing is that this is one of those things. If we do not fight this now, in 2 more years, they're going to install another bad governor and or other down ballot candidates in the state of Michigan for sure. If we don't make sure that this election is honest, we're done. Because I feel like it was a setup for failure, because these people like to queue you up in order to, watch you fall later on. And so we have to be, regardless what President Trump does, okay, we have our job to do, which is demand that they follow the law. And they're going to have to, there were so many anomalies in the election. We have to have this thing investigated. President Trump's going to win. What do we have to worry about? All we're going to do is prove that he won by a larger margin. So let's dive in and get this thing honest.
Well, that's the point. Let's go all the way back to Obama. Obama was either Barry Soetoro, which his father was a communist and an American citizen, and then therefore he would have possibly had been okayed as an American citizen, because he had a communist father that was a naturalized citizen, and his mother was naturalized. So he could have in fact been considered a natural born citizen. But in fact, he said he was from Kenya. His father was from Kenya. And therefore, if his father was from Kenya, and hiding the fact that he was not a communist or socialist, his father was from Kenya, then therefore he was not a natural born citizen, and he had no authority to become a president of the United States. So which is it? What's the real story? I don't know what the real story is. I only know what I've heard, and what the speculation is, that he was a natural born citizen, but his father was a communist, and had that come out, he wouldn't have won the election. Yeah. So they decided to make him quasi-naturalized citizen or natural-born citizen, and say, well, he was born in Hawaii. It was the idea of where he was born. It's not where you were born. It's that your parents, that you're second generation American, not first generation, because first generation don't necessarily have your loyalties to the United States, but your loyalties to the country from where you came. So generally you have to have second generation, and then you're natural born, and then you could run for the presidency. That's the only office that requires you to be natural born. But it is a requirement that's in the Constitution that's not fixable. You either are or you aren't. So, and in the communist, socialist, whatever you want to call them, Barry Soetoro or Barack Obama, I don't know. That's a question that needs to come out and needs to be brought forward. That was he naturalized or was he natural born? We don't know that, because they played that game as to who his father really was. Was his father Kenyan, or was his father a communist American? I don't know, but it's one of those questions that needs to be answered also. If he was in fact not a natural born citizen, then he was a de facto, and he was usurping authority never granted to him. And everything that he has ever passed, said, done, any law that was passed under him that he signed into law is null and void. That means every judge that he put in office, every Supreme Court justice, I don't know if he elected
every decision
he made, all of that's null and void. It's like it never happened.
Obamacare, the disaster.
Yep.
And look at this. What's really interesting is look at how they screw around with the insurance companies, and where the Gretsch from Michigan came from, which was Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, and how they've manipulated the society through the insurance companies.
You just brought up an interesting argument. I don't know if you've listened to X22, But
not really, but I love Dave. Hi, this is Dave. I love Dave.
There is a woman that was let go from Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I just heard this today. Now that you brought it up, that was let go from Blue Cross Blue Shield because she did not take the vaccination for religious reasons, First Amendment. And she won the lawsuit, some $6 million, $10 million against Blue Cross Blue Shield. So there you go.
Well, that's a good thing, except for, they're probably going to just raise premiums, because they're all criminal and all this stuff.
The matter is that somebody won a lawsuit against a big company like that, and it's a good
thing. You gotta hit them where it counts. You've got to hit them in the pocketbook.
So with that in mind, anybody that's suing or that was denied the right to work, and we have somebody in our group that was denied the right to work, and she's suing right now the government or the hospital for her back wages, which is like $2,000 or $4,000, not much money. But the judge is doing and his name is Travis Reed. He's doing a song and dance to get her out of the system. He's afraid of her. He has no idea what's coming down the pike, because she's going to do a motion for reconsideration, and he's going to deny that, as he's been denying everything else. Then she's going to sue him personally for violating the Constitution, his oath of office, and so on and so forth, for millions. This was an easy pay. Paid me my $4,000 or whatever my back pay was, and if you don't do that, then you're going to be on the hook for a lot more. And that's the way it has to go. We have to go after these people. We have to go after the judges, and she needs to go after the attorney, and she still needs to go after the hospital. She needs to go after everybody for big money, not the pittance of her. And I don't mean that as a derogatory statement, but that's little money for the hospital to say, hey, let's just pay her off and get her out of here. They want to go to war. They're going to end up going to war. And that's exactly what I'm doing with the judges that I'm suing. They're good. They want to go to war. We're going to war. And I don't quit.
Right. Too many people from Leb are not paying attention to the down ballots that were stolen. All they care about is that their guy won. And I would agree with that. Slotkin did not win. Rogers can't concede to fraud, and the judges all Democrats, right? That's what I was seeing, is that they were, most of them here were Whitmer appointees, and that's disturbing. Thank you. Have researched them some this week. Funny, we have to protest everything global Whitmer deals in. Donna, could you get a response from the Democrat chair? Told them that they are in treason status with the Americans. I could probably contact them. President Trump is fixing this, he said. Well, that's great, because I'm really anxious to see what they're doing. There's a lot of good stuff I'm seeing that's coming down the pike. I love what Kennedy's done with asking people what they want. I think he's done a good job with it. And then let's see.
The problem with letting Trump do it, and letting Trump and Kennedy and all of the others do what they're doing, that's great. They're going to do that. They're going to hit them from the top, but we need to hit them from the bottom.
I agree. And nobody gets to go home. It's like this, just because President Trump won doesn't mean we just sit back and go, yay, we get to go back to, our little nanny state life where we're doing nothing. No, we've got to get in there and get working with them and making it count on the local level. I mean, that's where they can do these things on the federal level, but it's going to take all of us on a local level to really make this thing count and get all of them for what they've done.
The fear is that the fear of the Democrats are that they've lost the people. They've lost the American people. And that scares them, because
the crap scared out of them, because they should.
Without the American people on their side, they can't win their color revolution. They've lost.
They've lost.
But we can't sit back. Now that we are on the run, we have to continue the charge. We have to go after them in any possible way. And if you're in a situation where you have an opportunity to go after them for as little as a parking ticket or for as little as a speeding ticket, then you need to go after them. If you can go after the judges because the judges aren't doing their job, you have to go after them. You have to escalate the battle. You can't just stop because you lost on the first go round, because you're going to lose on the first go round. You got to go after 2, 3, 4 times, maybe 5 times. I'm suing these same judges and same people. This is my 4th lawsuit against them. Eventually I'm going to win, but and I'm not going to stop until I win. But that's the attitude that people have to have. Yeah, it takes time and it takes a little money to do this. But if you know the law, you can do it on your own. You don't have to go through an attorney, which is part of the system. If you hire an attorney, you might as well quit. You've given up already. You need to know the law yourself. You need to go after them yourself.
Blowing the charge by Mr. Tater right there. Get in the game. It's Colonel Tater. How's that?
Thank you.
Colonel Tater just gave us marching instructions. Now get at that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I went out yesterday to celebrate Veterans Day in full uniform. So that was fun.
Do you have a picture?
I do. I'll send it, but I don't.
Yeah, send it to me. I need to see the picture of you.
Okay, I'll send you a picture of it. It was a great time. We had a lot of people are saying, "You can still get in your uniform." That was the funniest part of the whole thing, but brought on a lot of nice conversations with people that were in the service. So that was good. I did enjoy it.
That's awesome. So you had a nice day. You said you went to Olive Garden and such.
Went to Olive Garden. Went to an Olive Garden offered a free dinner, and went to IHOP, and they offered a free dinner.
And donuts and such, man. You had a big.
Yeah, I did hit that. I don't generally eat donuts, but because I like to continue to fit into my uniform.
Well, to you and all the other veterans, happy Veterans Day. If I missed you yesterday and on any of the channels and such, and we really appreciate everything you've done for this nation, and just so proud of all of you. I mean, it's amazing.
I just sent you a picture on
all right.
Text.
Okay. Oh, that's so cute. Oh my gosh, this is so. I'm posting this, guys. This is cute. That
was at IHOP.
Okay, I'm bringing this up. This is beautiful. Hang on here. It takes me just a minute. We'll get it up here. Mr. Tater. Oh, he's so handsome.
Well, thank you. Of course, I was with my very, very special girlfriend, Susie.
Yep, there's Susie. I'm sure Susie's there. Hi, Susie. We all say hi to Susie.
So it was fun.
Oh, look at you. You're so cute. Tell me what your medals are for.
Well, some of them are, there's a green one there. That's a Army Commendation Medal for doing something specific in the military. And an Army Achievement Medal was another one. The two I'm most proud of are the shooting awards, which are the medals hanging. One is for rifle, and that was you got to get 30 points to get a gold one. I never got to the gold, but silver was the second, and it took 22 points in competition to get to that one. And then the brass one was for pistol, and it took 4 points to get to that one. So those were the two that I actually had to go out and do something specific and train and practice and so on and so forth. Some of the other stuff, like the red on the one side, is a regiment award, and the ribbons on the left side there are just various, 4-year service, 10-year service, One is the one that is important is the one that I was in service during conflict. That was Desert Storm. So that's basically what it is.
You've got a lot of amazing stories. That's just wonderful. We need to talk some about Desert Storm because I know you've got lots to say about that.
Well, we get around to it. I'll be glad to cover some of the things that happened to me during Desert Storm and what I learned in Desert Storm, which was even more important. We know that it was a television war for the benefit of George Bush Sr., and that's what it was. We did lose some Americans, unfortunately, lives during that time period, but it was not a real war. And those people that actually served out there, that actually spent the time and fought the battle and carried rifles and got shot at, have to understand that this whole thing was choreographed for television. That's all. And for George Bush Sr. It had nothing to do with what was what we were told in the real world. And same with the second Iraqi war, because of 9/11, because they hid them $500 million. Rumsfeld hid the $500 million at that time period that we were going to look after and hunt down and try to find what happened to that $500 million from the Pentagon. And after the towers fell, nobody thought about that anymore. $500 million, so what? We went to war instead.
Nothing to see here. Move along. That's what they did. I have architect Richard Gage coming on again on Thursday, going through the 9/11 fraud that was foisted upon the United States citizenry here and the lies in order to install the Patriot Act. And anyone who signed that is a traitor. I'm gonna make that clear. That act is going to be looked back on in history at some point in time, because I think there's enough of us that are not going to let this thing die. Yep. And anyone who signed it was a traitor. That's right. Traitor to the United States of America. So, well, thanks for being on here, John. I'm gonna quick move to our little intro and go into the second hour. So, any last?
Yeah, before you do that, just want to let you know Wednesday is our meeting on Zoom. If you want to get involved, go to our website, which is magnificentrepublic.com. It'll tell you how to get involved and come and join us at 7 to 9 on Wednesday.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome to the second hour Brandenburg News Network, and it is the 12th day of November 2024. And sorry for cutting it off there when I hit the intro there, John, but wanted to bring you back on here for just a second. And so thanks for being on. And did you have any other last words, or are we set?
No, we're good. And I thank you. I just want to wish everybody a good day, a nice week, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. We'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, let's add in Melissa Fryzel. How you doing?
Good. How are you this morning, Donna?
Good, really good. We're talking about all kinds of stuff that's going on in the state of Michigan here. It's crazy with the FEMA the 300 and some odd semis and such, but really what's going on behind that is you can see a correlation with what they're doing with Michigan Potash and Salt Company. And it should be really concerning for people. This is like, look over here, be afraid of FEMA while they steal our natural resources. That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
And yeah, people need to broaden what they're looking at, because they're definitely leading us astray.
They are. And, I'm going to look for a post that I found last night. Now, this came out of South Carolina last night, and I forget the name of the town, but they were saying that they haven't had any rain in this area at all. It rains all around them. And they were talking to a contractor, and they're like, well, that's because the electric company right there is somewhere in Georgia, and I'll have to look up the name of it again, but they are doing something with the electric company to prevent the rain. It's the cooling towers for the nuclear facilities. It's a nuclear facility, like all this Bill Gates stuff. And so these cooling towers for the generation of nuclear energy is stopping the rain in these surrounding areas. And so there's actually a lawsuit that the farmers have filed in South Carolina against this company. So I'm going to see if I could find that, because this lines up. I mean, this is all about the resources. It's all about this clean energy deal. And so we're being hit by multiple levels of it.
Yeah, it's about collectivism. It's about bringing people up. There we go. And here's Mr. Deal, the big deal, Chris Deal, and American.
Hey, how you doing?
You look straight up CIA this morning, dude.
Well, I'm just going to work today. Hey, listen, I want to talk about what's going on in Michigan.
This is crazy.
This whole government of ours, from governors to Senate to Congress, this whole administration is acting unconstitutionally. This is a constitutional crisis we're witnessing, and this whole government needs to be removed and replaced with a Republican form of government, because that's what the Constitution calls for when our government acts in the manner it is. And I also want to furthermore add that what they're doing in Michigan, they're either hiding FEMA trucks so they don't have to respond in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, or we need to ask Mayorkas, the cartel director. We need to ask him what the fuck is going on. Why are 300 plus 18-wheelers owned by FEMA government, what are they doing invading the Michigan state of Michigan? I want to know why. The people want to know why. The people are pissed. I don't give a shit if it's because I don't give a shit. The people are pissed. They want an answer.
Well, did you see what I brought up earlier? I don't know if you were watching it, but this is what's going on here. You can let me see if I can. I'll throw this up what I have on my Telegram channel a minute, because there's a map. Hang on a minute. Let me pull this up a minute. Here we go. And check this out. This is where they're allegedly landing on the ground. And there's a problem with the air base that they're on too. Look at where they're saying that they're protecting. It's like a cutting right across the state here. Why? You tell me why they have it in those areas. Oh, an inconvenient truth is why. It's because Michigan is pumping $50 million into a private potash operation to steal our resources, because this is what these criminals are doing. They're doing the communist takeover of our industry. That's what's happening here, boys and girls. And our public officials, the public functionaries, criminals, the global crime syndicate is stealing our resources. Nestle did it. Chinese Nestle, Chinese-owned Nestle, that's functioning up there and by Mount Pleasant. And now you've got this nonsense going on. And it says it's millions of acres that they're going after. That's why they're here. I bet you they're going to start doing eminent domain to take this over, because that's what they've been doing. That's what they did through the DNR, is they took over 4.6 million acres in the state of Michigan. and so that they could have the mineral rights and the logging rights. And I want to know, where are the receipts on where that money's going? I want to know where that money's going, because it sure as heck wasn't going to the citizens of Michigan. And there should be a royalty or something. They don't just get to walk out with a $250 permit with our resources. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, this is and that's stealing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not only that, it's absolutely breaking trust with the people they are supposed to serve and treating us like the slave class. And then, you know, Kamala, I'm going to say Kamala, not Kamala.
Kamala, the comrade Kamala.
Comrade Kamala, you know, she's asking people to do a recount now. Excuse me, I hope nobody is stupid enough to do this. That's not where they're cheating. You'll never find it there. They're just gonna blow through your resources and your money for that. They're cheating on a programming level, and there was cheating that went on. And I really think we need to make these elections honest, because I think President Trump won by a much larger margin, and they cheated on the down ballot candidates. If we don't stand up for what's right, not just say, yay, our guy won and the good enough, let's walk away. They're setting us up for the cheat in the next election. Just watch. We have to have a thorough investigation. We'll prove ourselves right, but we're going to find the cheaters along the way.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I think this is a diversion just to do what they're doing, which is to take over the resources of the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know what you have up there in the state laws, but see, we have a similar situation here in Texas, the Marvin Nichols Reservoir. So I believe it's somewhat in excess of 60,000 acres that some of these companies have come in, and now they have hit the owners of ancestral lands of some of the original grants with eminent domain. They say this is to develop the reservoir in Red River County. Well, we know when mining for specific resources, they need a lot of water, right? So yeah, they've executed this here. Now in Texas, we actually, when it comes to eminent domain and public lands, it's legal in the sense of if it's for public use. However, it is not legal for eminent domain if it's to foster economic growth. And so here in Texas, this is what I've sent the residents here, is go to our AG and have him, you know, look at this and intervene, because we have all the evidence. I put together 3 pages of news articles just for that area alone, showing that these companies that are involved have expressed this will foster economic growth, which means that's how Texans can push back. Now, I don't know if they've done that yet, and I'm wondering if there's similar laws in other states on this topic.
They're doing the same thing they did in China, which is nationalizing through private, public-private partnerships, all of our industries. So they don't have to do anything. They can just steal everything from us.
They just move in and take it.
Isn't this what falls under the Constitution of these companies, or what defines a foreign enemy?
Yeah,
absolutely, because they're being funded by foreign money, and the corporations themselves are foreign. Mm-hmm. You bet they are.
And the corporation is aiding and abetting.
You bet they are. So we've got somebody that says, FEMA crap, what local government is also getting a kickback? That was my other question Denise asked over here, is that somebody's got to be getting a kickback from this. And there needs to be some investigation into that, because I just found this week via Bob Cushman that DTE was paying First Choice Contracting with the signature verifiers that I hired, that made sure that 5 of us were off the ballot on the governor's race, and about 30 down ballot candidates. DTE was paying to get actual candidates off. They're paying the company. I mean, you can look at that and see what they did. They literally paid the signature verifier gatherers. They were paying them. So why were they paying them? To get actual candidates off the ballot, and only allow the communist ones on that would play ball with them.
And I think a lot of this goes into the union involvement in all of this, because I saw a lot of this in New Mexico. The unions will go in there and tell their employees and the union members, this is who you're going to endorse. This is who we're endorsing, and you're going to sit down and shut up.
And you have operators like the ones that we busted out at the church. Those people are very on.
Ooh, froze Chris up. He's saying uncomfortable truths here.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. We busted it. You froze up on us, Chris. Try that again. Where's Chris? Can't hear ya. Try again. Leave and come back in. But yeah, it's like we busted a ring of them up at a church where they were holding a convention because there were some people there, especially one that committed a 14-year felony to keep me off the ticket from the taxpayers party. And so we found them and watched what happened with the pastor of the church turned the security cameras off to be able to hide it. So, I mean, this is so deep. People have no idea how deep this goes and what lengths these people are willing to go to.
And you know, the sad thing is we have all those that mean harm on us, but then we have those that are our own people a lot of times, that they're operating out of such an intense state of greed for,
oh my gosh,
that they're going right along with it. I mean, this is both sides. Both sides are doing this. I mean, this goes down into, have you seen what the Senate vote? They're trying to run a secret Senate vote. I believe today. Yeah, no, tomorrow they're going to have a vote trying to elect the Senate lead, and they're doing it by secret vote to try to stop everything that this administration and the people have coming in.
Oh, I told everybody, I said, just wait. They're trying to shut us down. I'm going to tell you what, you better start paying attention because this absolutely was engineered. And so what were you saying, Chris?
I know I said I was done with TikTok because TikTok has me extremely pissed off. But
what were you saying, Chris? I don't know if Chris can hear us. Nope, Chris can't hear us. So we'll have to see if he can come back on again. Maybe he'll be able to hear us. There you go. Now, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So anyhow,
that's okay. I take that as a compliment. I'm not upset.
Well, what were you saying about the church? Because we busted a group of them in the church. Oh, look at he freeze up again as soon as we start talking about it. And we caught somebody, and they committed what will be. Okay, try it again. Yeah.
Well, what the communists do when they come in is they set up these organizations like Head Start, for example. Head Start was supposed to be a good thing. And they started off that way because it's brand new. They do it on purpose. And then later they install their government, their communist activists. These are activists that are in office. These are activists in our local government. These are activists at the Head Start, for example, organizations which are so deeply in bed with China, it would make you sick. And all of these organizations that they're into, John Kennedy of Louisiana, attorney, was interviewing appointees of the administration. The appointees of the administration are communists. They're appointing.
Oh, Chris froze up again. Hey.
We must really be onto something here this morning because we are having issues like no other morning.
Oh, let's see. Chris is trying to say something, and it's like again he's frozen up. Can't hear you, Chris. Hello, Chris. I do not know what's going on.
What is the wind? Is that wind? What's going on?
I don't know.
Chris,
There's something in the back. something in the background that is unallowing him to talk.
I mean, if none of us having wind, do we have somebody else on here we don't see?
No, it's in the background and we can't. Chris. All right, Chris, I'm removing you. And maybe let's see if we can put him back on again.
Oh, look, it's a dynamic trio.
Yes, there he is. Couldn't hear a word you were saying, Chris.
It's him.
Couldn't hear you. Something in the background not allowing us to hear Chris.
You have a lot of interference, Chris.
Yeah, a lot.
Cannot hear you
like
at
there's
all.
a
They don't want us
car.
to hear you.
Yeah, they're trying to have Chris. And
You
they
hear
keep,
that beeping noise?
yeah, I
Yeah.
keep muting him, and I can't hear it through whatever's in the background. No, not going on. It's going to be too annoying. Let's see if he comes back on again. So anyhow, morning, gals. What's up?
Not much.
Not much, huh?
Not much. I was looking, Melissa, did you talk about this hospital thing?
No.
I want to
Yeah,
put. You sent me a TikTok video here. Let's put that up a minute. Let's
Who
see what
did?
Melissa did.
Oh. Oh,
Let's
yeah,
see.
this one.
I find out valuable information. I feel the need to share. So, I'm going to tell you all about something interesting I just learned. So, we're having our drain field redone today, and the guy that's coming to our house texts me and goes, "Is it raining out there?" And I said, "No, it's raining in town, but it never rains in Snelling. We literally live in a black hole." And he goes, "Oh, that's because the cooling towers at Plant Vogel, which is an electric generating plant, prevent y'all from getting rain. The farmers are literally suing them for that." And I was like, "Are you serious?" And he was like, "Dead ass. Look it up. They're being sued for that. That's why y'all don't get rain." Y'all, this whole time I literally thought it was because we live near the river, which still doesn't make sense because you think we get more rain. No, it's because of an electric generating plant called Plant Vogel in Georgia.
Plant Vogel?
South Carolina.
Plant Vogel.
Wow.
So it is a nuclear power plant in Burt County, Georgia.
Burt County.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. There's just so much stuff going on. It's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy what's going on. Where else do we want to go from this right now? Because, I think that we can't fall asleep. We cannot fall asleep because there's still stuff going on that is just, the fact that so many people just wanted to rest and say, "Yay, President Trump got in, we're done. We got our guy in." This is the beginning of the fight. And if we don't write this stuff, they're going to just keep coming at us, and they're going to come at President Trump. I mean, I keep saying, why did they allow him to win? Because he won by a much larger margin. There's no way he won by, the percentage points that they were quoting. That's absurd. So what's really going on? Okay, let's see if we can bring Chris back on. Chris, we're going to try it one more time.
I forgot what I was going to say.
There's so much noise where you are in the background. I think that's what's interfering.
It's like a car. We were hearing dinging noises and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I am at a car wash.
Oh, there you go.
But they can't turn off my mic, right?
Yeah, well, there you go. They were doing
No,
it.
but we will if you start sounding like.
Yeah. That's right. Be out of here, Chris. So
it's not the first time I've been told that.
Well, you know what? Can you talk about what happened? Because we started talking about how we busted a bunch of them that were cheating. And the second time I got kicked off the ballot, because that was pretty substantial, and people really never heard that story much or what really happened. But somebody should be sued for laying the notary down and prosecuted for that. And there's all sorts of things that were going on. The pastor turned the cameras off to the church to hide what was going on.
Yeah.
It was a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Because they knew what they
Mm-hmm.
were going to do. And it's no different than what you were looking at with the Air Force Base. that's decommissioned, and you had a walkthrough, and they had cleared everything out of that Air Force base. Remember? I mean, it was. Yep. So why did they clear it out? They wouldn't answer you that question. It's because they had this planned the whole time. Believe me, they think way ahead. They've already got the objections answered before they closed all the doors down the hallway, the possibilities of things that can happen, and they set things up. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. So when we discover an attack, because that's what this is, then we need to act. When we find the problem, we need to get rid of the problem. We as Michigan people need to go in there and, hey, get the fuck out.
We need to get rid of the DNR, which is Eagle in Michigan, because they've basically stolen 4.6 million acres. And I'm pretty extra sure that this is about a land grab with FEMA coming in here and stealing the potash deposits and that sort of thing. Michigan Potash and Salt Company just took a huge amount of government welfare for their little private-public partnership going on there, public-private partnership, and which makes the company itself despicable and repugnant to not only the way the Constitution is supposed to work to protect the citizens, but also they should just be repugnant to the citizenry itself for taking that money, because they basically stole it with no benefit to the people of Michigan. It's theft.
Hey, hold on, Robert. So I got a corporal on the phone. So what this is a government invasion. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Does Robert want to talk?
I let 25.
Hold on one second. What is it? Go ahead, corporal.
I said I just let 25 people know, and some of them are on podcasts. So
good for you.
Because I'm telling you, as a military person, we need LPOPs watching these freaking people and knowing exactly what they're doing.
Absolutely.
We need to be calling the freaking Congress, Lisa McClain, and all these yahoos that claim to be on Donald Trump's coattails and find out what the hell they're doing in our state.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Roger that.
Yeah, they need to be out of here. They shouldn't be here.
You don't need to be afraid, but you need to be alert and know what's going on.
Copy that.
Amen to that.
Maybe we should surveil them.
Look, that's what I was thinking. Like, where are these people?
24 hours a day, man. Until they leave. 24 hours a day, they need surveillance. Yep. Find out what the hell they're doing. Anytime they move, we need to know.
Yep. Let them know we're there. And if they retaliate, then, hey, it's on.
We're ready.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
You need to be out of our freaking. You are not allowed in our state. We don't need FEMA. We don't need Homeland Security. They're all freaking 3-digit agencies, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying?
They're all corrupt. What they were put in place for is no longer happening.
Yeah, I gotta let you go for right now because
All right, Chris. Thank you, yeah. Chris Deal, the big deal. American security. So that's just so much going on. It's crazy, but I'm glad we had a chance to talk about this stuff that's going on, especially in the state of Michigan. I mean, this thing hit the ground yesterday, and the councilmen that were standing up in front sat there and had the audacity to say, "Oh, it's no big deal. They're not on the way." But I found something else out about the airfield and who's connected to that, and the fact that the agency gave the owner the airfield.
What airfield is it?
I have to look it up. I'll post that later, but you need to look into the ownership of that, because that's what's really suspect, and how the owner got it is even more damning, to see that this was all set up ahead of time. All set up. Hang on a minute. Let me read you something here, because this should be really concerning to everyone. Hold on a minute. All right, so we have the company. So Connie Kalita started out a civilian business in the air cargo of Willow Run Airport, buying and rehabbing old aircrafty to build his fleet. And I've got an article here. And he also did a lot of transport for agencies that don't exist to the countries we were never in. He was basically given the closed Wurtsmith Air Base by that agency. So the agency kind of gave it to this guy, apparently. And I've got another picture that was the Suez Canal, the Suez shipping incident happened, that there was an Evergreen International plane on the ground at Wurtsmith Airfield at that same time, coincidentally. Major connections. We all know how the CIA funds their wars and traffics drugs, and why not human trafficking as well? Because I made the comment that it just looks really convenient. There's so many things that are just convenient to, allege that we need to look at these connections. Are you back, Chris?
Yes, ma'am.
Chris is back. So yeah, so all of this stuff really needs to be looked into, because this is I'm going to continue to go forward with this, because it really looks like we got something here.
So on the point on the video that I sent on that plant Vogel, so that is owned by a company called the Southern Company. And so check this out. Bill Gates, through his investment firm, Cascade Investment, is connected to Southern Company's nuclear technology developments. His nuclear energy company, TerraPower, has partnered with Southern Company on advanced nuclear research projects. This collaboration focuses on molten chloride fast reactors with funding from the U.S. Department of Energy to support the development of cleaner energy sources. So,
you know what? I'll bet you anything it's the opposite of that. I'll bet you it's for the purpose of dirty nuclear purposes. I'll bet you they got some shit going on. Look, never mind.
No, keep going. Go ahead and say it,
Chris. Say it, Chris. Say
it, Chris. Do it. You know what?
I'm a professional activist.
Yeah, it needs to be said. I mean, I think that the greatest threat we have is like the dirty bombs and such that we have here. They're here, and they go off. It's 100,000 years before you can inhabit the land. So it's not like a regular nuclear bomb going off. It's for keeps.
Yeah.
These are the true Nazi ideological psychopaths.
Satanists.
You've got the Fauci doctor experiment on human bullshit motherfucker. You've got Gates, who they funnel money through for organizations that sound good, but you've got to twist it and make it backwards, and that's what he's really funding this money. That's what the money going through him is really for. So this is an attack on the United States of America and all of its citizens. They are not trying to make things better. I mean, look at the last 4 years. That's kind of freaking obvious. And there's been a line drawn in the sand. There needs to be action taken now.
Yeah, I mean,
not in 70 days, now.
Yeah.
Because there may not be a 71st.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that they want to mine lithium and the dangers of mining a lot of these minerals to the public and the environment right there. I mean, just the dangers from the process tells you they don't give a dang about any of us or this land.
Well,
how do you know?
but it's dangerous within itself. So that's like an asshat comment. It's like it's dangerous to mine this lithium, but let's do it so we save so we save the world. How does that even sound right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you know it's not for nuclear purposes?
I mean, that's what I've always assumed it was for.
Yeah.
We don't know
Yeah.
what they're doing because there's no transparency, honesty, integrity,
Right.
or honor with these
Right.
people. They're
Right.
kind of thieves.
And
Right.
they'll die on that hill before they inform us.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the ideology that we're dealing with, that we better wake up to, we better start responding to, because you know what? When it's too late, it's too late. You know, talk is great, and informing is fantastic. But I got to tell you, man, we've seen it how many times? How many times have we had it thrown in our face? Proof. I'm talking about proof. They even say it,
Yeah, they do.
and we just sit back and we take the bomb after it hits. We just go, wow, those motherfuckers, those sons of bitches. I knew they'd do that. You know, for once, I'd like to get them before, and that means we have to act. They're criminals. They're not. They don't. They don't go to a church for the same reason we do. These are criminals. They've already proven it. Yet we sit back as Americans and just say, well, they got a First Amendment right to say these things. Yeah, but guess what? If you say something stupid, not even stupid, if you say something like, we need accountability, they're out there saying, you said that they need to be hung.
Yeah. I mean, this place is crazy.
But Jamie Raskin is out there doing that. You know, you've heard the rhetoric that they're putting out, and why do you think they're leaking stuff like this? Why do you think they're trying to rile up their idiots, their useful idiots, so that they're inciting all of this, which we will see.
That's
They're
exactly what they're
inciting
doing.
it.
That's exact. They only tell you
I mean,
what they want you to know.
Mm-hmm.
right. When you see these kids on there with their mouths wide open and I can't believe it, and you see these grown men standing next to the supposed the vice candidate for president, sitting there, and there's guys behind them. Oh, I get crying on TV. Kimmel crying on TV like a bitch. I'm going to tell you something. These people are inciting the ones that do not know, the ones that are not educated. Those are the ones that are the easiest to manipulate. And that's how they get people to add on to the group of rioters that are already there, which are
Those are
governmental.
feds.
Those
Those
are
are
governmental.
feds.
Those are what?
Those are feds. You're talking about the riot for
Feds.
the feds, yeah. Especially with
No,
this
I'm talking
recent
about the brick
protest.
throwers. I'm talking about the guy that shot the other guy that was protecting a man's store. I'm talking about. I
Oh,
don't
I
give a
see.
shit if they pull their pants down and get on their knees. I don't care how they perform their acts. That has absolutely nothing to do with the actions that they commit against the American people that are incited by our fucking government. That is not a government. That is a communist government. And why? And what are we doing sitting around watching it happen?
It's a
We're
crime.
letting them.
It's a
We're
crime
letting them take
syndicate.
us down piece by piece by piece. We
So
got to stop this. This is a. They're not allowed in your fucking state. This is a goddamn invasion. I'm sorry for using God's name in vain. I'm not using His name in vain about him. And I know actually they call it a curse word for a reason, because the evil use that name to curse God with. God forgive me. But I'm I'm kind of upset, a little
You're
bit
upset.
angry, as you can tell.
Well, it's understandable because we're literally watching this show roll through our nation, and it's not stopped. It isn't stopped. I'm really hopeful that President Trump put some wonderful policies in place, but that we should still be absolutely furious about what we're seeing still on the ground and not lose that fire in our bellies to fight these people, because there's so many of them. If we think that a handful of people are going to be able to take this nation back, we're completely deluded. It's going to take all of us standing together, putting aside our differences and realizing we have to stand here together, or we either survive together or we don't survive, and they'll take us out without a backwards glance, because they don't care. They're psychopaths. They're evil. It's pure evil.
So you guys remember the whole Haitian eating cats things in Springfield?
Yeah.
Well, they were supposed to have some type of march down there, and it got shut down. But it's weird because they made a watchtower in the middle of their town, and then someone dropped a whole bunch of bricks off at the hotel. Just conveniently just dropped the fucking bricks off. But I
Really?
am at the point where, yeah, they canceled it. I'm in their little group, the people that organized it on the fake book. But so many things are going on right now. It's like I get the American people feel somewhat relieved because Donald Trump, you voted Donald Trump in office, but that don't mean shit to me, because I
Right.
can see for what it is. Donald Trump can't save all this stuff. We have to actively dismantle these corrupt agencies, and the people have to be willing to stand up for it. Most people are like, well, what do we do? What do we do? You get involved.
I know
You
what to
talk.
do. You get about 10,000 zip ties, and you go down to Washington D.C. and you pull every goddamn one of them out of the house, and you zip tie those sons of bitches, and you take them down to Gitmo. That's what you do with them.
Mhm.
Chris.
Yeah, well, before we do
here.
that,
I think the military needs to step in,
I think so
honestly,
too.
and the rest of us just need to sue the hell out of them.
But I don't really trust the military, though. I mean, I don't. You. How are we supposed to know? I mean, just like what you just said with your situation, a pastor was involved
Right.
and fucking you over. So who do we trust? And
Yep.
and this is what I was gonna say. If you want to make change, the people around you that you see that are making change, get connected with them. You know, you see people like us on here talk. We're not just talking, to hear ourselves talk. We're doing it. We're recognizing the situation. We're putting the steps in place for us to do something about it. So you need to get with those people, because those people will guide you in what you can do, because we're fucked on all aspects around. It ain't just one corrupt agency. It's all of them. They
Well, and
all have people in there
and
that are corrupt.
it's like this. It's like we can do this on BNN and get the word out there, but everybody should be posting and reposting and reposting and reposting to get the truth out there, and not just say, not just wait for somebody else to do it. Because if we don't
Right.
continue to educate people and get away from the fake news media, and decentralize all this, we're absolutely screwed. And this is one of the only non-censorship platforms that I actually know about, even in the alternative media, because they're dependent on the systems that are censoring them. I don't care if they kick me off everything, because I'm still going to be able to keep this thing up. And that's why you're going to hear anything on Brandenburg News Network, because this is truly non-censored. It's non-censored. If we have to go completely on tour or in other directions, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep this thing up. And
Yeah.
so, but it's incumbent.
And also, I'd like to let me say this. Okay, this governor you've got has totally violated her oath of office. Sheriff Darleaf, I'm begging you to put a big boy pair of pants on, tuck your balls back in your jeans, get the fuck up and do something about this. Take her out. Get her out of your office, because she is complicit in the the FEMA bullshit just by sitting back saying, well, I didn't know that was going to take place. Well, if you didn't know that was going to take place, then your eyes ain't on your state. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Well, and it's one of those
And put
things
somebody else in that'll protect you people. Jesus Christ, you're going to have to build your own border, not from Mexicans, from the government.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, and the law is still on our side. The great thing is that it is on our side if we're willing to walk forward. I've got a team together right now, and we're going to go forward with several actions. And I think it's going to be a really fun time to actually put a little legal pressure on them. And hopefully we'll do some horse training and make them move their feet a little bit. And we keep at it. We're gonna have some success, and I think it's a good thing. But I understand the frustration because you see all of this stuff going on, and it makes you feel fairly helpless. But we still have the ability to fight them. We always do. We just are going to have to move forward. And the biggest battle we have right now is the apathy that's out there still with the American people, that they just want to sit back and have somebody else solve their problems instead of moving forward and being helped. If all of us stood together, they wouldn't stand a chance.
That's right.
They pack their little bags and they go to little communist Canada or something. They cross the border and go into Trudeau land up there, or somewhere else where they can live their little
Trudeauville.
Yeah, Trudeauville, and get them. They would leave. They would leave if they weren't prosecuted, if they weren't held accountable that way. They would leave if we made it uncomfortable enough for them. But we need to act. We need to keep the pressure on them, and not just walk away. I'm happy President Trump got in, and some of his picks have been really good. Some of them I question a little bit. I'm not sure about yet, but we're going to just keep going forward and see what happens. And but the law's on our side. And also with him, and we've got to back good people when they do step up, and not just step away and say, oh, they're going to get in, solve my problems. You work for me. How many times have we heard people say that? Who in their right mind that's a good person would ever put up with that kind of treatment from the citizenry? I mean,
all right, well, I'm gonna say this. If the law is on our side, then why is Governor Whitmer allowing the law to be broken? Okay, so when we have people like this in our state governing our people, allowing our people to be invaded by a foreign entity which has gone domestic, then we don't have law and order. We don't have a law that we can go by. Yeah, you're right, but they're not following the law. The law is not going to be applied if you have criminals that will protect each other, that want the same thing. They want the invasion to come forth also. So my question, and I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I mean, I know you are right. The law is definitely 200% on our side.
Yes, we need to use the law to
you get
our
my
advantage,
point.
and we can't do that. It's just going to take some work. We can't expect them to follow the law. We're going to have to step outside of this corrupt system and make it work. And I think we got a strategy here, Chris. Just so you know, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I think
They
this
don't
is actually going to be
expect
fun.
us.
They don't expect us to stand up. They want us to be stupid, silent sheep. And if we move forward and we refuse to lay down and go along with this, I think we're still going to win. I really do. But we have to use the actual law, not their made up pretended law, not their made up pretended FEMA and all these other agencies. We need to use the actual law. I think Melissa's having a struggle here. So anyhow, well, guys, I think we need to move on with our day here today. We've got all kinds of things to do, and Donna Brandenburg is going to continue to study the law and try to find a strategy here to make sure that we hold them accountable, because it doesn't matter what our title is, whether we have a title or not. I know I never wanted a title. I just said that would agree to do the job if they asked me, because they asked me to do it. But outside of that is just a person, a citizen. We have more jurisdiction than all of them all put together. And we just have to find our way through. And I think I got a way to do it, guys. So stay tuned. But you're going to have to get behind us and get behind me if I move forward with this, and not just say, oh, Brandenburg's going to fix all my problems. I'm going to sit back here like a cheerleader and go, Donna, go. Right? No, not happening. Get in the game. And that means pass things in, be part of the team. Don't be a spectator. This is not a spectator sport.
Where you want me, sir? Roger that.
This is funny.
Yeah, so I think we do have a problem with people. It's like everybody just wants to go back to life as normal. And so after we've been trying to get people riled up and, motivated and educated the last few years, it's like, oh, no, Trump won. Y'all just be quiet now. We're not going to listen anymore. That's going to be a huge problem. I mean,
Yeah,
they want to talk about.
I'm already seeing it.
Yeah, they want to talk about the communists are the problem. They want to talk about the left is the problem. Well, guess what? You're a part of the problem, too, if you're falling back into apathy.
Yeah, and you're sitting on your couch doing absolutely nothing, bitching
You're
on social media.
No different than the communists and the level of destruction that our own choices make.
Yeah, you could come to any one of us on this panel if you have information that you need to get out. You can come to any one of us on this panel if you want to be a part of this, because we're not stopping. We're not stopping.
We're not.
We know. We see it. We see that if the American people do not stand up, Donald Trump cannot do this by himself. He's going to put into place policies for our future that will save us in the future, but it's going to be rough. And there's so much corruption everywhere, in every county, in every city, in every state. So be one of those people that are not afraid of these people. Do not operate with fear in your heart, and stand up and help us save this fucking country.
And if you don't come over here, grow some cojones and become a whistleblower. I know there are thousands of people in this country that see what's going on. They're being told to be complicit in it. This is their job. This is their family's financial security in this moment. But I guarantee you there's thousands of people living in a state of fear, thinking if I whistleblow on what I see, I'm going to lose everything. Well, honey, I am here to tell you the entire country is going to lose a lot more if you don't.
Well, and it's like you work for CPS and these other complicit agencies, FEMA, FEMA or CPS or something, HHS, all of them. You need to step down, walk away, or you're going to be counted in with the traitors. You need to walk away, because if it's just a job or you're in it for the money and you're just doing it for money, you're a traitor. Yeah. Americans need to walk away from these agencies and refuse to be complicit with them. Refuse to sell your farmland to China. Refuse to play ball with these people. The only way we win is to stop playing with them. And that means disable them by cutting their labor force, cutting their useful idiots that are falling in line with what they're doing, and stop. Walk away.
Right.
And I say, we come to you.
What's that, Chris?
I say this: if they come to you, you come to us. Okay? Right. We're the people. We will protect you. The government will not. So, and I also would like to add that we, the people of Michigan, of the United States, as far as I'm concerned, but we need to surveil to literally get day and night watch on these people around this yard, around this decommissioned. It's no longer an Air Force base. It's land, private land that the government is invading in a state. They got no business being in that state. So we need a bunch of people that would like to get together and, hey, call it a peaceful protest if you want. But I'm bringing my binoculars.
I just bought some night vision binoculars that record.
I'm putting you on a night shift, baby.
I told Dwayne it was for his birthday, but
he can wait.
Yeah.
You got to test them out first. You're just
Yeah, I got
taking
to
my
see
test.
Yeah,
boy
gotta
work.
test them.
You got to test
Just
them out.
tested my new binoculars. Yeah,
That's
Gotcha.
right.
Right.
I think
We're
I
on
need
that.
I
some. That's
wonder
kinda
if it's
cool.
a no
So if
fly
you could-
drone area.
So what?
If you can fly a drone over the area.
It-
It's not
Why
airspace
not?
anymore.
well, you got to.
It's not. It's
Airspace over airports are somewhat controlled, so you got to know
Yeah.
exactly how they are. So like they actually are in a cone shape. So like when you're flying closer to the ground, you can fly closer to areas as you go up because that's the flight patterns. How do I know that? Because
I thought you're talking about that Air Force base, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
So you
Well,
know,
that's
It's
no longer an Air
an
Force
Air
base,
Force
is it?
base.
That's right. It just has the infrastructure for one.
no, I
So
think
that's why they're
flying
using
out
it.
of it. I think they're flying out of it yet, but I don't know. We're gonna have to see what's going on there. So little recon out there, people.
I don't care if they're flying or not.
Let's do some recon.
I don't care if they're flying or not. If they're decommissioned, they're decommissioned.
Yeah, we're
That's if they're
recon.
flying out. If it's, I mean, can you even do that? Can you fly out of an airspace that's decommissioned? I'm sure you.
Well, I don't know because I mean, look at people fly out of grass
Right.
strips all the time. I mean, if you had to, you put it down in the cornfield, right?
Right.
Well, if FEMA can park 318 18-wheelers in a spot in Michigan, I guess they can fly and use that thing as an airstrip.
I would say that's probably very likely. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's only decommissioned to us. They do what they want. So
Right,
at
but
any
you
rate-
know what? This is our land. This is my backyard, not your backyard. This is my backyard, not the government's. So we got to if we're going to take back this state, we got to start doing it.
there you go.
And if it means we got to round up a bunch of people and circle that damn thing, hey, we're just showing you you're not welcome.
That Ammon Bundy, he did that. He had so many people there that were protecting his land up there from the government trying to steal it. I like him. He was on my show. It's like
Did it work?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, it
Well,
did.
there we go. We got a strategy in place.
And then CPS came along and tried to steal the grandson of one of the guys that stood with him. They got him out of it, but it was like quite a fight there. These people are ruthless, brutal
wow.
child kidnappers, sexual deviants. I mean, they're pedophiles.
That's because they're the enemy.
Yeah,
We have to start realizing that this is an enemy.
Oh, we're in a war.
Yeah, war.
Yeah, we're in a war. This is an enemy, and we need to fix the problem.
Right.
We need to get rid of the enemy.
Well,
I'm just saying.
yeah, that's what we're working on, Chris. That's what we're working on. So
I know.
you know me. I've always got stuff. I've always got stuff. You know, spooking around in the background stuff. You know, we're gonna
shut up.
win. You're a savage. What do you expect? You're a crayon eating Marine. I expect nothing less.
Mm-hmm.
What color crayons you like there, Chris? What's your favorite crayon?
I have to say on that, when it comes to the last 6 years and everybody that I've worked with and all the veterans, you Marines are some badasses. I'm telling you, y'all have been on top of this like nothing else. So
That's
I
right.
appreciate it.
Simplify.
There you go. Yeah. What did you have for dinner the other night?
Oh, you're terrible.
I started sending Chris some memes, some crayon memes.
A box of crayons.
Yeah, it's like I sent him some crayon memes and said, "Well, what color are you eating for dinner tonight? I hope you enjoy your dinner. Happy birthday, Marine! 249th year."
Donna sent me a buffet of Crayola.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I knew it would make your day. So.
And it did.
Yeah. Well, that's good friends. Good friends throw all kinds of shade at each other. No, it's the language of love. That's what it is. Love and respect, Marines.
Absolutely.
Yeah, savages, total savages. So anyhow, well, guys, let's say a prayer here a minute and go on to our day because even though all of these things we're seeing out there, remember God is in control. And Chris, it's going to be okay. And that was specifically for you. You know, and I think that this is something to remember, is that we should never ever stop fighting. Don't fall into the Gentile Jesus with a lamb on his foot, because that is not representational of what God is like, or Jesus. And he was a provocateur, and it's our job also to be a provocateur and not to just lay down. We're going to keep at this until we win. And what we're fighting for is this world to be returned to God and under his jurisdiction. No matter what country, what land, what people, we need to make sure that God is on the throne in our lives as well as in our countries, like that he's leading us. So, and he's allowing this to happen. I'm kind of like perplexed by this whole thing, but I'm kind of honestly waiting for him to come back. And when he does, it isn't going to be a good day for a lot of people who have been making some really bad life choices. But I think he's giving them a chance. He's giving them a fighting chance to turn things around right now. And to all of you in CPS and such, he's giving you a chance to walk away. But you're going to get a chance to walk away from the sins that you're committing against children, all of those who have been involved in genital mutilation of children and such. This is going to come to an end, and it's not going to be good. And you've got a chance to walk away from these evil entities right now. Take a stand and disable them. Just disable them by walking away. Walk away. And refuse, boycott working for them, boycott dealing with them. Stop turning your neighbors in to these communist organizations and being little communist, brown shirt communists yourselves. Stop it. Just stop it. And
don't be afraid to talk about Donald Trump or any of the administration in public out loud. The whole conversation I had with you in the beginning was in a car wash. Heads were turning. And you know what? When you stand up strong in your belief with confidence, it overpowers the weak criminals that are doing it for the wrong reason.
Hey, I asked everybody before the election, I'd go right up to people in stores and whatever, is, hey, are you voting for President Trump?
Yep, absolutely.
I straight out and asked them, you know.
I know you run toward the ambush.
You bet. It's like I run right towards it, and then
absolutely.
You know, if they disagree, I said that's okay. You know, I'd fight for the right for your opinion. However, we need to defend him as an American who had his rights violated, just like we need to investigate this election, which had an extraordinary amount of cheating in it, and we'll prove that he won by a landslide. We got nothing to worry about. Run right into the fire and let's handle this and catch all the criminals that cheated down ballot outside. We're going to catch them all. We're going to get them all, and we're not going to back down until we do. So with that said, everybody, let's go into some peace and tranquility. Yes. We can be in the fight and have that fire in our bellies and never back down, but realize overall, God is in charge of this. His land, his sandbox, he makes the rules. And for whatever reason, we're going through this in order to stretch our wings a little bit, to learn how to stand, to learn what the law is like, to be worthy of self-governance. We're not worthy of it. We haven't been for decades because we sat back and just let them run over us. And now it's our time to say no more. We're not going to do this anymore. We're not allowing this. We do not agree to this. And you know what? And we have legal methods, legal ways to, in fact, remove them all. And that's what we're going to do. And so very strategically, cold and calculating to them, because they are absolutely criminals. There's no reason to have mercy for what they've done. They deserve no mercy. And so that's the direction we're going to go in. And I think that God, when he comes back, there is going to be no mercy. So you've got one shot and making things right now. And I suggest you use it and repent on what you're doing. CPS, HHS, you know, all of these organizations, walk away while you still have the time. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so very much for everyone who's willing to stand for this nation, and a nation of laws, not men, but a structure. You've always had a structure for us, and we're always happier within that structure. And our families, our communities, our homes, and the people we love, we ask that you would bless each and every person out there with strong relationships around them, with people who are willing to stand for good and turn evil away, who are not afraid to run right into the fire to right things for our posterity, for generations to come, and who are not going to cower in the corners and be afraid, but who have courage and honor and bravery and integrity, and refuse to capitulate to an enemy that's nothing but a little satanic weasel. We give no credence to them, and we are willing to stand with you, and we are asking that you help us, because we want to be one nation under you, not a bunch of rogue operators who are running to and fro like a bunch of spoiled children who just want to be entertained all the time, but having a purpose to stand for something in honor and truth and integrity, and for your good purposes. And may your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You've been a wonderful friend to us. We ask you to give us peace as the storm rages around us, that we won't let it control or throw our emotions, but that we very humbly walk forward with a plan, with a law, refusing to capitulate or go into Crazyville like the other side does, but to stand with honor. It's an honor and a privilege to serve you, Father God. And we ask that you would continue to call more people to repentance, to walk away from these horrible agencies that have been weaponized against us. These companies like Michigan Potash and Salt Company, who has agreed to take the 30 pieces of silver from this horrible government we have going on, and turn their backs on it, refuse to play ball with us. We ask that you would go before us, behind us, around us, show us what it is to do. We're willing to do whatever it is that you ask us to do. And we love you so very much. And in the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
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 There you go, boys and girls. It's that part of the show where you go to ding, 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 BrandenburgForGovernor.com, because I'm the best non-conceder. Whoever not conceded in the history of the United States of America. And I want to talk to the rightful president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump, about this in cowboy boots. And that day is going to happen. I'm convinced of that. So, you know what, guys? Have a great day today. If you don't have a good example, be one. And God bless you all. God bless all those whom you love. And God bless America. Make it a great day. It's a choice. It's a choice. Be strong. Be tough. Mentally tough, with a big heart to those around you. And there's a difference. A great deal of discernment necessary right now. But we're going to get them. We're going to get all of them. And it's going to be fun to kind of unveil the Brandenburg plan that's going to be coming to fruition here very shortly. Very much fun. We're going to roll right through this state, and it's going to be amazing. So have a great, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. And remember, Richard Gage is going to be on, the architect who's been analyzing 9/11 and bringing uncomfortable truths to the forefront on what these people have actually done. 10 o'clock on Thursday. I hope you guys can come back on. I'll let you know when the next time is. I think it might be Thursday morning at 9. If you guys are agreeable, that would be great, because I love you guys and it's always fun. Let's see what's happening. Let's take this nation back. Have a great day, everybody. Stay strong, stay tough.